Hello Eternum and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news, and this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum last night as the Covenant forces of Ancient Templar expand the Templar Empire in Brightwood, and the founding Great House of Primordius Virtue return to Eternum by conquering the hot spring resort destination of Ebonscale. KOTT news crews were on the scene in Ebonscale when we spotted an officer in the aromatherapy hot springs. And since KOTT News is Eternum's #1 source for news, we joined them and got their impressions from the war.
Fun war. Thank you for everybody for joining.
And what will you be doing next?
Well, just enjoy this nice waterfall. That's it.
After a refreshing dip in the hot springs, KOTT news crews made our way to Brightwood just in time for their victory as well. KOTT news crews caught up with the celebration ongoing on top of the unfinished church tower to discuss their victory and the ongoing church repair project.
I tell you what, they gave us a run for our money. This is probably, I don't know, what war do you think this was for us, Julie? We've fought several wars on offense and lost a lot, as we see on your news channel. But finally came out with a victory on this one.
We're having a little bit of trouble right now with procurement, but once we get a contractor lined up, we definitely plan on fixing up the church, making some upgrades for sure, some bigger windows, some new technology, those sort of things.
KOTT news crews were then summoned to Windward to hear an unusual proclamation by the sitting governor of dropouts.
I'm giving the company right now to Kylem. And we gave Everfall to Kylem, and I'm giving Windward to Kylem now as well.
The official historical archives were updated to recognize the lineage of continuity and acknowledge the ongoing Neverfall by the current heavyweight champs. But that's not all that happened last night. KOTT news crews were on the scene in first light to report on another unusual spice-related occurrence. I'm here in the hamlet of First Light where an unusually large purple blob has destroyed several key workstations and has enveloped community homes in town. The blob now appears to be concentrating or perhaps resting in one area of town and does not appear to be moving anywhere soon. Acting out of caution, however, civic leaders have taken the liberty of evacuating the streets while the issue is being dealt with. Only one or two highly trained specialists remain on the scene, working diligently to resolve the issue. The damage done here tonight has been devastating on the community, and it is unknown what impact this will have on the flow of spice. We'll bring you more on this story as it develops. Turning to the weather, and with the exception of the giant spice blob in first light, the sun will shine throughout Eternum well into evening, until corrupted forces, spurred on by the upheavals along the northern edges, will rise up in Brightwood, and possibly more. 3 submissions for simulated fantasy combat resolution tonight, brought to you by Larpco. Remember,
If it's not Larpco, it's cardboard.
up first, the Covenant forces of Hex 2.0 assail the Syndicate forces of Banged Anime Chicks for control of First Light and the flow of the spice. Hex forces strike during an opportune moment as the sitting Spice Lords have been dealing with one spice-related accident after another the last few weeks. The all-female company of anime enthusiasts who have already watched all the anime and now simply discuss it, Banged Anime Chicks, are now divided between a mob and a blob. Then, the Covenant forces of Booty Clapital challenge the champs of Hooded X Outcasts for their championship title and the right to rule over Everfall. The challengers of Booty Clapital have been fighting in the outer regional circuit until now, and feel they have what it takes to take a shot at the champs. Larpco representatives acknowledged the conveyance of title by the duly anointed Marauder spokesperson last night and have ruled the current Neverfall streak to be continuous and ongoing, as Hooded X Outcasts set their eye on second place, currently held by Elysian, at 10. In the nightcap, the Marauders of Alab PH assault the Syndicate forces of Perplexuals for control of the northernmost territory of Morningdale. Newcomers Alab PH have quietly ransacked their way through the island, arriving in Morningdale prepared to make their first attempt to secure a title. The syndicate forces of perplexuals have said it once, but you'll hear them say it all the time. They're for the people. And as the new defenders in town, they'll march out in the rain to defend their hamlet. Be sure to tune in for complete coverage and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News.